All right, thank you very much, Tony J. We're here, Jason Laird from the Rising Lotus Wellness Center for our alternative health segment of the week. And of course, we also have your mother, Judy, today.
I do.
Can you tell us why we brought her along today?
Yes, I actually, about a week ago, I learned a new treatment for trauma. And it was so powerful that when I learned it, that my first guinea pig, so to speak, was my mother, which she's been gracious enough to be guinea pigs for me for quite some time now. So we treated her for some trauma that she's had in her life. So I'll let her kind of explain more about it if you want to ask her questions.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the treatment and also kind of how you felt after he treated you.
Yes, the treatment was amazing. I just couldn't believe it. But the trauma that we were working on is my father committed suicide when I was 11. And then when I was 15, I met my future husband, was together with him for 29 years. And got divorced after 2 lovely sons, Jason and Damon. But we did end up getting divorced. And then about a year ago, actually today, I was near death. And have come back from that and feeling wonderful. But the trauma still existed on certain levels. And when Jason did the treatment on me, after he was finished, I felt like there was this huge brick that was lifted off of my chest, and it went out that way. And all I felt then was a really bright white cleansing light, and lighter in my whole being. And for my father, I felt forgiveness, and for my former husband, I felt compassion. And now, I've always, since 7 months ago, I've enjoyed every single day. But now, since this treatment, I'm enjoying every single moment.
Wow. Well, I think that's
really
really
lighter
incredible.
and happier, bounding out of bed, and it's just been amazing for me.
That's incredible. Well, Jason, tell us a little bit about how you do this treatment.
Yeah, it's really pretty interesting. I don't necessarily even need to know what the trauma is. Obviously, with my mother, I did. But there's and this was this is still even a stretch for me, but there's this little vial, and it's, everything in nature has an energetic property. So whether it's like a rock or whether it's a human being, there are, Western science has even found that there is energy to everything. And so this vial is actually imprinted with energetic properties of certain trauma, so of just generalized trauma. And so, I was a little skeptical. I don't just take things, at face value. So that's when I tried it on my mother. But I actually had it done on me, and I sort of felt the similar feelings of just overall general feelings of wellness and really happiness more. And what we do here is this vial. If a person is actually sensitive to it, there's muscle testing involved, so your body knows if there's certain things that it's sensitive to. So it's not so much like we treat allergies, and things like that, but this is more of a sensitivity. So on this chart that is behind me, if the cameraman can get a close-up of it, there are acupuncture points on the back that correspond to all of the internal organs and also the nerve bundles that come out of the spine. If there's a disharmony in some sort of area of your body, then it'll show up in certain acupuncture points. But what we have along the spine are specific points that relate to the organs, and when a person is actually holding this vial, their muscle test can go weak, and then we can treat it down the spine with vibration.
And you did this earlier on me, and it worked. I mean, you were testing the muscles.
Yeah, right before we came on camera, your muscle test was strong without the vial, and with the vial, it was weak.
Yeah.
And then we tried a couple other vials, one for money and one for global prosperity, and those were strong for you. So it's pretty interesting because once we harmonize your body's energy system, then your body can let go of things. So our minds and our bodies hold on to certain events and certain thoughts and certain energetic patterns until it's time to release them. And so I'm pretty amazed. I've done this now for 4 or 5 more people since I've learned this, and the results are similar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, show us exactly how you kind of do this treatment.
Sure. So if I'll have my mother hold this. So we did this before. So hold out your arm. I guess we'll see if we can do it on camera. And so we've got a really strong muscle test there. So I'm pressing pretty hard, right?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So we'll take this vial for trauma, and I'm just going to use a couple of fingers. and so it's a lot weaker.
Yeah.
And so when we do this treatment, you'd be holding this in a certain way, and then we would treat you down the back, and that helps to release your body's natural energy, and over just a couple of minutes, your body's able to start processing that trauma better.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Really?
I'm still experimenting with it, but for the 4 or 5 people that I've done so far, the results are very similar.
So you've really seen some results.
I have.
That's really,
Yeah.
really neat. All right, well, thank you both for being with us today and also for telling your story. That is really interesting. I'm glad you found this treatment.
Yeah.
And if you do want to book an appointment with Jason, give him a call, 577-6333, and you can also go to risinglotus.net for information. And thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. You know, I know a lot of people suffer from a lot of trauma, whether it's small, losing your dog or cat, to things like my mother. So I think this is really going to be helpful.
Yeah, we want to mention that it's not just, major trauma. It
Right.
can be something like
Loss
losing
of
a pet.
relationships, that's a big thing for people. So.
Absolutely. All right, well, very interesting. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Great. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.